What are you saying, ladies and gents? It is your boy Bucket Sam, and yes, we are back again today for another video. Today's video, I'm doing my game week 34 Premier League predictions for that, guys. If you're new to the channel, please do smash that like button and subscribe. It honestly helps so much. Let's get into it. First game of the game week is probably the one I am most excited about this week. This game has just got everything, so many layers to this that we can dive into before we talk about anything. 5th versus 6th, Arsenal versus Manchester United. So much going on. Obviously, Man United just announced Ten Hag with only one win in the last 4 games with 2 losses. It's not really good enough, and they were absolutely demolished by Liverpool. Let's be honest. You can't imagine the performance would be any worse. And you'd hope for a bit of a bounce back, just like Arsenal did. They had 3 losses on the bounce. Then they absolutely battered Chelsea. What a performance. The thing is, the most exciting part about this with the Arsenal-Tottenham kind of debate, with this early kickoff, they can then apply the pressure back onto Tottenham. And that's the thing I love about this kind of top 4 race, with the 2 sides never playing at the same time. One keeps going up again against the other and applying the pressure back and forth. And that's what we love. And really, I think Arsenal are the favourites for this game. And yes, I know Man United, we keep saying on their day they could put up a fight. But when have we seen it? We've not seen it. And I think we need to try and get out of the mindset where we look at the old school Man United, because that old school Man United's not there. And this game once was a really fierce derby, and I don't think it is anymore. I really don't. There aren't many fighters in either side. So I think Arsenal are going to win this game at home and apply the pressure back to Tottenham and go 4th temporarily or permanently. Who knows? But I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal home win. Now on to our next game, Leicester, who host Aston Villa. And Leicester have had a really off season. I think the pressure maybe of Conference League alongside a lot of injuries to a lot of key players. When you look at the squad, they have had so many injuries. I do feel it's really unfortunate for them, but they've kind of really got to focus and put all their eggs into the Europa Conference League basket. And especially after that PSV result, they've got to keep going and getting results. They're currently sat in 9th position without a win in their last 3 games. It's not really good enough, is it really, for Leicester? But if they can get a trophy in the Conference League, then all will be just forgotten, let's be honest, with Brendan Rodgers. Whereas Aston Villa, wow, they've really, really fallen off. 15th in the league right now with 4 losses on the spin. It's really not good enough. And when you look, actually, they're not far off the relegation zone. They are only, I'm just looking now, I'm doing the maths in my head, trying to do it as fast as possible, 7 points off Everton. That's absolutely mental, considering at one point people were talking about whether they can get into Europe, where they could be the best of the rest behind that top 6 and that top half of the table. Gerrard, it's been a really odd start. He came in and they just bounced. And since then, they've really, really fallen off. And they're going to hope for a bounce back against a Leicester side that, yes, got a few injuries, but they're still a good side and they still know what they're doing. They're going to hope maybe for Aston Villa, there'll be some rotations in that Leicester squad, as I said, with the Conference League. But I still think it's going to be a difficult one. But I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to go for 1-1. Now, on to our next game, where first place Manchester City hosts 19th place Watford. And Roy Hodgson, did anyone really think it was going to work out? Well, it hasn't worked out in the way that Watford were hoping. They're all but relegated now, let's be honest. They're now 6 points off Burnley, with Burnley's result after they beat Southampton. It's not been good enough. They were hoping for a buzz. They got a few results right at the very start, but it simply just hasn't been good enough. With 1 win in their last 5 games, they come against a Man City side where they've lost their last 11 games at Man City. It's really their bogey side. And we remember that cup final. Geez, I think it was 7-1 around, something like that. Absolutely mental. And Man City are firing on all cylinders. They've won 3 of the last 5 games, unbeaten in the last 5. And again, it goes back to the point. It's very similar to the Arsenal, Tottenham kind of thing, Liverpool, Man City. Man City and Liverpool trying to apply the pressure back and forth. Man City have got the earlier game, so they can go 4 points clear with a win here. Obviously, Everton, Liverpool game on the Sunday night. So there's a lot of pressure on Man City, but I still have Man City down to win the league because I can't see them slipping up in these kind of games. So I'm going to go here for a 3-0 Manchester City home win. Now on to our next game, where Norwich are hosting Newcastle. Newcastle have had an absolute resurgence. When you look at them this year, I read a stat that they would be 2nd in the form table since Eddie Howe has come in. What a performance! That squad now, it still isn't the strongest, but there's a real togetherness and a feel-good factor with that squad. 3 wins on the bounce up against a Norwich side who recently have been in quite good form themselves, with only 1 loss in their last 3. But as I've said before, I think it's too late for Norwich. So currently sat on 21 points. They're desperate for results here, and they come against the Newcastle side, which, as I said, they just look so strong. And you even see that Saint-Maximin clip when he was mocking other players. Can you ever imagine a player doing that at Newcastle at a point where it was so toxic last year? Now there's a real buzz and a feel-good factor. As I said, the fans are happy, the players are happy, Eddie Howe's happy, and it's working out. They're currently sat in 11th spot. And if with a win, they could go into the top half of the table, could have 9th in the league. And I think they will do with this win. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Newcastle away win. Now on to our next game where two London sides battle it out. Brentford hosting Tottenham, and two sides that have been pretty good form recently. Obviously Tottenham losing out against Brighton, but before that they had 4 wins on the bounce, whereas Brentford have got 3 wins on the bounce themselves. Two good sides, two electric, dynamic sides in these two outfits. And I really, really like Brentford this season. I think they've really shocked a lot of people. Ivan Toney has been an absolute revelation. There was question marks whether he would live up to the hype that we all thought, but 12 goals and 6 assists, I think it is now this season. Very, very good season. And to be honest, Tottenham right now, they've finally got Kane and Son going. A lot of people, you could look at it and think, is Kane now playing well at the end of the season to get a move away? But we're not going to look at it like that. But Kane is firing on all cylinders, and Son, geez, what a player, what a combo. And as much as Brentford have been good this season, I think they'll apply pressure to that back line because it's still a bit shaky with Tottenham because they're very direct, but I still think Tottenham have the quality to demolish this team. And as I said before, they're going to want to get a result with the Arsenal race for top 4, and Conte will be getting his men ready for war. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Tottenham away win. Now onto our next game, Burnley Wolves, and Burnley are desperate for results here. They're trying to get out of that relegation zone, 1 point off Everton, and they have played 1 game more. But as I'm recording, it was about an hour ago the game had finished. They have just beaten Southampton, a huge result and a convincing result, and that's a good sign for Burnley. Since the Dyche sacking, they've 4 points in 2 games. It's a very good start, but they come against a Wolves outfit that are really difficult side to face. Bruno Laga's men don't concede many goals. Yes, they've lost 2 of the last 3 games, but I think it's a little dip. They're a very, very good side, strong outfit, a lot of good players. And that's the thing. It's going to be interesting to see these two sides battling out because 2 very, very, very defensively astute sides. So will there be many goals? I'm not sure. And I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go for 0-0. Now to Stamford Bridge, where 3rd place Chelsea host 7th place West Ham, and West Ham again. We talk about this fall off in form, but I think this is all down to Europa League. They're putting all those eggs in that one basket. But Chelsea themselves, after a shock result when no one expected Arsenal to demolish them and pull them apart piece by piece as they did, they're going to want to bounce back. And I think we're going to see the likes of Thiago Silva coming back into the side because Tuchel made a lot of change in that zone. I don't think he respected Arsenal, and I think he's got to respect West Ham because it could come back to haunt him like it did in the last game. West Ham are going to want to try and gain a bit of momentum going into that next fixture. It's going to be a really difficult one for both sides, but I do think Chelsea have just got that firepower to edge it as long as Lukaku doesn't start, let's be honest, with the way he's been playing recently. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea home win. 10th versus 13th. Now the two sides split by 1 point. Brighton host Southampton. And Brighton are the XG merchants. We talk about a lot. They're really interesting side to watch, really good football, but they're just lacking that goal threat. But they've had some really good results recently, obviously beating Tottenham and beating Arsenal. We've seen they can do it, but the problem is it's not consistent enough, and that's why they find themselves in 10th position. They come up against a 13th place Southampton, who at one point were nailed on potentially to get a Europa Conference League. They were doing so well, and then themselves are just falling off. But we see this with Hasenhüttl's men. They dip in and out of form throughout the season. They go on massive runs and they get absolutely battered, and then they fall off a cliff. And it's because of the high press, high energy football. You can't keep it up for a whole season. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two sides face out, because it's two sides that like to press, two sides that like to play nice football. But I do think Brighton are going to be the better side in this game. And I think Brighton will just about nick a win here. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Brighton win. Now onto the arguably, again, one of the biggest games of the weekend. 2nd place, Liverpool hosts 17th place, Everton, and it's big for both sides. Everton, obviously, are going to want to disrupt Liverpool's title charge and title race. Obviously, them and Man City are battling out at the top, trying to get that win. And Everton themselves are in a dog race. They're in a battle at the bottom of the table. And with Burnley's win, they're now 1 point ahead. And yes, they've got a game in hand, but the thing is, at the end of the day, they're playing later. So Burnley could leapfrog them, and Everton could find themselves in the relegation battle at the time of the game. And to be honest, Liverpool, they're just a force, a serious side. You saw with that draw against Man City, they didn't really deserve it, but that just shows you they've got the dark arts. They can play in different ways. They became a bit of a nasty side. There was a lot of what we call it S-housery, and I thought they were very good. And I think it's going to be a really difficult game. As much as Everton are going to want to try and disrupt the title race, I don't think they can. I really don't think they can. The sheer brilliance and excellence of this Liverpool side is going to come and haunt them. I'm going to go for a big win here. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 3-0 home win. My final game now of the game week is Crystal Palace against Leeds. And Leeds have just had a resurgence under Jesse Marsch. I think it's kind of gone under the radar a bit. Leeds at one point were nailed on for relegation. Now they're unbeaten in their last 4 games with 3 wins in their last 4. They find themselves 5 points off the relegation zone. I think that we can safely say they're safe with the way they've been playing recently. They come against the Palace side, who themselves find themselves in 14th place with 2 losses on the bounce. They've been struggling a bit recently. I think it's because the players aren't usually in a situation like this where they can kind of go on holiday early. They're a bit the phrase when you find the players on the beach because they're safe, they've got nothing to play for now. Just they want to get a solid finish under Vieira, and I think Leeds will take them here because I think that laziness and the lackadaisical play recently and the willingness to not run will really haunt them against Leeds because Leeds will come out firing, and that's what they do every week. And under Jesse Marsch, they're a different beast right now. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Leeds win. Thank you guys for watching. As I said before, please smash that like button and do subscribe. Honestly, it helps me so much. And I want to say thank you again for helping me hit 2K subscribers. Honestly, I'm so grateful. We're building such a nice community on here. So leave comments, smash the like button, do everything, guys. Drop me messages on all socials. They'll all be in the description down below. But yeah, I can't wait to record another video. More predictions coming your way, guys, and for some cracking games. Bucket Hat Sam over and out. Thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.